A superhero's color scheme is very important for, branding reasons, probably. So that's why these two obviously chose red, white, and blue, because when are those colors ever going to get associated with anybody else in this universe? Hello, Internet! Welcome to Tales Showcase, where two heads are better than one. Especially one's erratic, self-destructive, and kind of a moron. I'm your host, the Watcher of New Earth. The DC Universe is known for its iconic duos. Batman and Robin, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, resetting timelines and mischaracterization, you get it. All of those pairs go together, and all are inextricably linked with DC Comics. Today, however, we're going to be looking at one of DC's lesser-known team-ups. Hawk and Dove were originally created in 1968 by writer Steve Skeets and artist Steve Ditko, co-creator of Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, and began as a brother duo. When Don Hall, the original Dove, died on Crisis on Infinite Earths, he was replaced a few years later by Don Granger in a limited series. That series then spawned this ongoing series, which is written by former Mary duo Carl and Barbara Kessel, with art by Greg Guler. This pairing of the team might actually be on the rise since they recently made their live-action debut on the DC show Titans. Which I haven't seen, but, you know, I've heard things. Some are good. Anyway, let's get started. This is Hawk and Dove number 1. The comic opens with Hank Hall and Ren Takamori, who are dating? I mean, they're not. Or they are. But they act as if they definitely might be. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. As she's attempting to get him to ask her out, Hank goes into a story about The Invasion, which was an event comic printed earlier that year. He goes on to explain that the Australians needed help with the aliens because all they could do was fling boomerangs. Whoa, hey, come on. Firstly, this guy has made a career of it, and when he's not being a horrendous bigot in jail, he's doing quite well for himself, thank you. Secondly, Australia's not filled with people that can only fling boomerangs around, alright? They can fling any number of things. Vegemite, shrimp, on or off the Barbie, baby kangaroos, presumably. And, the list goes on and on. He goes on to explain that when you need a job done right, you call the Americans. That's right, fear no more, Australia. The US is coming to solve all your problems. And when has that ever led to anything but good? Don Granger soon joins them as he goes on to recount the event, this time from their point of view. This includes them meeting up with other heroes and Dove gloriously taking down Guy Gardner. The most interesting part of this flashback, however, is when Dove is seemingly crushed by a wall, and the usually brash Hawk suddenly shows vulnerability and worry at the thought of his partner dying similarly to how his brother did a few years prior. It's a nice little moment that shows another side of Hawk, as opposed to the painfully one-note persona he has for the rest of the issue. As they continue talking about their superheroics, Ren suddenly interrupts so no one else can hear. Now, while that is thoughtful, she bizarrely decides to do this by loudly imitating the robot from Lost in Space. Weird reference, but alright. I mean, I appreciate it, certainly, but, you know, just seems like that'd call more attention than it'd draw away from it. They gather at a restaurant as their friends announce their wedding date. Meanwhile, at the Special Crimes Unit, Captain Arsala is rewatching footage of a fight that Hawk had with the supervillain Kestrel. Since the villain disappeared, the captain has since become obsessed with finding him. One of the officers, a guy named Wolfson, tells the captain that it'd probably be better to forget it since it's not uncommon for villains to disappear if they escape from their first encounter. Yeah, obviously. Arkham Asylum can only catch and release so many prisoners at a time. Elsewhere, a jewelry store receives a mysterious package. A disc shoots out and the manager assumes it's a bomb as everyone ducks for cover. Hank, Dawn, and Ren are passing by the store in a taxi when an explosion comes from inside. In the store, we see the emergence of, I want to say the love child of a sentinel and a stopwatch? Not really sure what I'm looking at, actually. The menacing figure quickly demands his bags be filled with valuables. The duo outside spring into action, but before they can stop it, it's revealed that the circles are teleportation stamps. Whatever they are, that's how he showed up. As the pair enter the store, still in civilian clothes,
Don warns the thief to give up and to not try anything stupid. Hank, on the other hand, quickly begins walking towards him, telling him to go ahead and be really stupid.
Yeah, like me, Hawk, running face first into a gun. Be really, really, really stupid.
The duo transform into their alter egos and engage. Hawk charges and starts tearing at the armor, but just as it seemed like he's got the guy on the ropes, a gun comes out of his chest and prepares to blast Hawk. Dove quickly intervenes and stops him from frying her partner. She then steps into battle, but she relies on dodging and outmaneuvering him, all the while trolling him beautifully. Hawk joins again, seemingly annoyed that Dove doesn't confront him head-on. He then grabs a piece of the wreckage and gleefully swings it and takes the guy's head off.
You know, last time a comic book character whacked somebody's head off with a blunt object, I don't remember it going over so well.
In his defense, he says that he did it because he realized that with all the weapons he was using, there was no room for a human body inside the suit. However, when Dove asked him how he didn't know that the suit was robotic but with an organic head, he clearly shows that he didn't even think about it. Luckily, it was just a robot who reveals his name was Gauntlet. He says that this is not the end and teleports away. The duo wrap up at the battle site before heading back to Ren and leaving in the taxi. However, a trench-coated man nearby has seemingly been watching Hawk and Dove and seems to be interested in the seemingly mystical roots of their powers. He then claims he'll make them an offer they can't refuse, as transactions are best when he knows his customers' innermost desires.
Their deepest, most desires, huh? I guess for Hawk that'd be someone telling him that he's not a D-list hero. And for Dove, well, I don't know what she really wants, but what she deserves is a comedy special. That girl has been killing it this whole comic. Anyway, that was Hawk and Dove number 1. It's good. Really good. Better than it has any business to be, some would say.
Yeah, it's weird. For what could easily have just been a nothing book, this is really enjoyable. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. Carl Ketzel, who I mainly know for writing Superman, constantly brings humor and heart to his work, and it shows through here. While it's a slow start to the story, the beginning quickly and effectively sets up the main players and their supporting cast, as well as establishing a fun dynamic between them. Even the fight scene, which is usually my least favorite part of a comic, feels fun and interesting. Of course, this is also due in large part to the art by Greg Guler, who is able to thread the line between dynamic yet realistic poses, while also giving the cast humorous, almost cartoony expressions. It's a combination that sounds like it shouldn't work, but is pulled off spectacularly.
With Titans coming back later this year, maybe we'll continue with this series. I haven't decided. It's good. And I definitely recommend anybody who has a chance, check it out. Yeah, it's good. Anyway, as always, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. This is the Watcher of Newerth, signing off. Hi, I'm the Watcher of Newerth. If you like that video, hit that subscribe button, maybe even the bell icon. It probably does something, right? I mean, YouTube hired someone to put it there, so the least we could do is show appreciation by hitting it.